go. Let's work. Work for me, audio. Work for me, audio. Line slug, let's see. Third time's the charm. Can you hear me? Come on. Come on, baby. Can you hear me? Yes? Whew. I don't know what the hell that was all about. So listen, maybe K. Graham had it. Maybe I had a call coming in. I just closed everything out. I'm back. Good. I know you guys like it better over here. I'm happy to be wherever we need to be. I closed out everything, started it back up again. Glad that it's working. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Tanya, what up? Jack's here, Reese is here. It's cold again. Hopefully we get everybody back up on here. I don't know if the notifications are working or not. But, oh shit. Good morning, Mark. What's going on? 1 second. Good morning. Whew. All right, so what do we got going on here? We got cold weather. We got new president. Scatman, third time's the charm, baby. Edmund, good morning. No worries, no worries. I was very late yesterday. I apologize for that. Did you try the ab video yet? Did you try the routine? Zionic says that he's been in a slump. It happens to all of us. Just want to feel better overall. Back pain and indigestion, rough combo. Billy Gagliardo, my brother, who I love, also the head of sales over there at Blackstone. He had to go to the hospital. His back was bothering him, but his back and stomach were really bothering him. It turned out that the pain was so bad, he called 911. And he's got a bowel obstruction, so he's been in the hospital for 2 days now. Scary. Scary, scary. So they're treating him for that. I hope he's okay. Rusty Dog, do I ever fart? Yes, all the time, man. When you're eating a high-protein diet, you're going to fart like crazy. That's just part of it. And if you add the fiber into the mix, you're going to be blasting. I am from Yemen. Greetings to you and all your followers. Thank you. What's going on out there in Yemen? Fred Haas Jr. says clown. What is my body count? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. There's a lot that I forgot about over the years in my old age. Nintendo Switch 2. Hello, hello. I'm glad we got the audio back working again. How to fat loss? Well, there's a lot that goes into that answer, Deki Sugi, but the most important thing is the nutrition, getting your diet in place. Now, you could answer it as simple as burning more calories than you consume. However, there's a lot more that goes into it. But to give you an example, let's say when you figure out your basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of calorie your body burns at rest, plus your energy expenditure of the day, works out to be, let's just say for the sake of math, 3,000 calories, right? Well, if you reduce that by, let's say, 500 calories, right? We're talking about every day. Now you're in a deficit of 500 calories a day. And by the end of the week, that 500, right, times 7, I'm trying to give you guys like the simplest way to figure this out, right? That's 3,500 calories burned that week. Now when you take that over a month, times 30, this is a lot of calories wiped out. And as you burn calories, remove calories, body weight comes down. So that's the simplest explanation for it, but there's a lot that goes into that. Making sure you have the right macronutrient breakdown, meal timing, whether or not you're fasting. There's a lot that goes into it. The meal plan itself has an effect. Why does the best tasting stuff have the most calories? Well, although I do tend to agree with you on that one, part of it is because of chemicals, chemistry itself. For instance, when you eat chocolate, it releases oxytocin in your brain, which makes you feel really good. This is why people like it so much. You know, you're like, man, I feel this is delicious, it feels good. This happens with a lot of different foods that you eat, but also, we're trained as a society, unfortunately, to crave things like sugars and fats. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that those are the worst things for you, but when that's all you're eating, it comes really bad. Now, if you never ate any of that stuff, right? If you started out very young, let's say your parents were pureeing vegetables and whatnot for you, and then you started eating very basic foods, chickens and fish, you wouldn't have this acquired taste for the other stuff. But when we have it young and we're like, this feels good, I like this is good, our brains are trained to really like that stuff. Jesus loves me, thank you. Jesus loves you, Collabs 45. Amen, I appreciate that. Thank you, God bless you. Keith, hey, third time's a charm, Keith, we got it back. God bless you, Deki Sugi. God bless you guys, thank you. Have you ever tossed a salad so good that Olive Garden tried to hire you? Woo! Woo! I like your enthusiasm. You know what? In my youth, I would say abso-friggin-lutely. Once you get to hit a certain age, though, you start to care less about that shit. Now, I don't know, this may be different for a lot of you guys, listen. Especially when you're settled down for a while. You know, tossing salad, going down on your partner. Once you get to be a certain age, you just want to go. You might do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you just want to get right into it. That's what happens. That's what happens. I'm not saying it's always like that, but that's what happens. All that other action, that showboating, blah, 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 that's some young boy stuff right there. Hello, PG. How much money did Robbie and Dana have to give Aaron? Aaron doesn't need any money from anybody. He's got tons of money. I want that kind of money. How much do I bench press? I don't even bench press anymore. In my prime, before all my injuries, when I was young and strong and healthy, I could do 405 for 10. I was working out with 405 every week. What's the weird brown juice that we see you sipping on? This is my tea that I brew every day, my Kratom tea. Did you know that the heart and the penis are made of the same muscle? Well, that doesn't make any sense. The heart is up here and the penis is down there, so how could they be made from the same muscle? You might want to put the cam far away a bit. That massive frame of games startled me. I like the jokes. Wong MP4. I'll take it though. I appreciate it. Not as big as I used to be. The laser. What should I do to lose weight in 5 months? First thing that you want to do, like I said, I talked about it a little bit earlier, is you got to get yourself on a caloric deficit, get yourself on the right diet. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, with all the people that I've worked with over the years, I see men respond very well to ketogenic diets. Women seem to have a harder time adjusting to them. Most of the women that I've worked with have had to do some sort of carb cycling. But I find men do amazing with keto. Now, some women can do great with keto too. The same goes with carnivore. Seen a lot of men do amazing with that. Women, not as much. So the first thing you do, guys, is going to figure out the right diet protocol that you're going to stick to and follow, where you're going to be in some sort of caloric deficit. And then, once you get that nutrition in place, the working out is the fun part. And you can speed it up however much you want, based on how much extra cardio you do, burning more calories, right? Or how much less calories that you're consuming. You on kits? What does that mean, Ryan Prado? You just lied. What did I lie about, TM? Tanya Miller says, Olive Garden doesn't even toss the salad at all. I worked there and did salad. Look at that. There you go. How about that? I like that knowledge right there. The tea looks like Flint, Michigan water. This is kind of like what the water in prison looked like. Blake, those days are long gone, though, as far as the amount of weight that I can and can't lift. I don't even bench press anymore. You know, before all of my injuries and whatnot, I've never pressed more than 455 I did for a single. But I've done 405 for 10 plenty of times. I've done 315 for 20. My most impressive, I think, lift that I've done is I've done 225 for 50 at the end of a workout. That one, I think, for me, of all the stuff that I did, that was one of the ones I was most proud of. But there are plenty of people way, way stronger than me, by any means. I stick to mostly dumbbells now because with all the injuries that I have, I kind of have to press with my hand like this instead of like this to feel safe. Mark Dawkins, what is the formula of my tea? So the way that I do it, I use white kratom powder. You know, people will tell you that all kratom is the same. And that's partly true, right? It all comes from the same plant. The way they determine the colors, white, red, green, is really when they cut it and dry it, right? So there is an absolute difference when you've been using kratom as long as I have between the white and the red and the green. I prefer the white. It is more stimulating, works more with the caffeine receptors. And I really like that aspect of it. So what I do is I have an electric kettle. I fill it with a gallon of water, right? Excuse me, no, it's a half a gallon, sorry. So a half a gallon, right? 64 ounces. And then I take 20 grams of powder and I mix it up in a cup with some lemon juice, probably about 3-4 teaspoons of lemon juice, pure lemon juice. Get it all mixed up. Boop, 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 boop. Takes a few minutes. And then I cook it at 165 degrees for 30 minutes in the kettle. Then I take it and I use about a 50 micron strainer and I strain all the gunk out of it, which a lot of people don't do. They just drink it gunky like that. But I prefer mine to be more like a tea. So then that gallon, when I make these drinks, I do 16 ounces of the tea, and the other 16 ounces I mix with Crystal Light. A little lemonade, a little strawberry, whatever flavor I'm in the mood for. Shake it up, and have a couple of those a day. That's the recipe. I've been doing it for quite a while. What else we got going on here? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. 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 Good to see you guys on here. We bounced around back and forth. Had some audio issues this morning. I'm glad to see that we're back in action now. Would Obama take a sip of this tea? I don't think so. Probably not. What do you think? I say no. Why was I in prison? Why was I actually in prison, or why did the government put me in prison? We can answer that one a couple of ways. What angle am I walking? Totally flat. Just cruising along. That's another thing, guys, when it comes to losing weight, burning calories. When it comes to cardio, you can achieve a lot more faster by doing high intensity cardio. You go hard on some high intensity cardio, 10 minutes of high intensity cardio will probably accumulate more actual burning than 35, 40 minutes of steady state. So if you're doing 15 minutes a hit after your workout or whatever, outstanding. Outstanding. For me though, I got plenty of time and I enjoy doing this with you guys. I do the steady state, fasted, and I just stay on longer. If I was doing HIIT, if I was really focused on HIIT, I wouldn't be able to even read this stuff on the screen. No, I was not in the pen. Thankfully, I was at a camp, which is the lowest level security that you can get. The camps, it's a joke that they even have these camps, to be honest with you, because you can literally leave the compound and go to work. They have guys that work off base. Now, you got to be back by 4 o'clock count, or you get an escape charge, but, you know, if the security is that low that we could be there, just keep us on house arrest. It's just another way of making money stupidly. Ewan Nawa Mata Saja Saya, what does that mean? What changes am I looking forward to the most with RFK? Well, first and foremost, I hope we see a little more leniency in what is actually allowed to be consumed on the natural side of things. You know, I don't think we'll see SARMs being approved or anything like that, but there's a lot of great peptides that it would be so nice if we could just go and purchase them, which people are doing that now, but it really isn't, you're really not supposed to be doing that. There's very, very strange rules on a lot of this stuff. People think that the supplement industry, we can just do whatever we want. Man, I promise you it's not like that. It is not like that. Take it from me, a guy that went to prison over the FDA. But what I'd really like to see, and I don't expect it to happen, is the FDA changing around a lot of what the actual medical community can and can't do. Because some of these things that are revolutionary that we see with stem cells and other treatments like that that are not legal here, that you have to go outside of the country for, should be allowed here. Blake DeSanto says, I took Kratom one time. I think I was the downer one because I threw up. I was at work. You may have just taken too much. Crystal meth works too for pre-workout. I've heard that crystal meth is a hell of a drug. What did I go to jail for? So, again, we can answer that a couple of ways. I'll give you quick answers. My charge was introduction of an unapproved drug. Introduction of an unapproved drug. What I did was I sold a product that was an awesome muscle building product that the government felt was similar to stuff that was illegal, even though it wasn't. And they went after me really, really hard for that. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Dance, ho. So it's really a matter of what your perspective is. So JD818, if you're asking me to hold myself accountable for what I did, yeah, I absolutely sold a product that, in their opinion, was similar to banned products, absolutely. But it wasn't, I have always followed the rules of the FDA very, very strictly. So you find out, once you go through the system, that there is a percentage of guys in there that are there that shouldn't be in there. Now you got guys in there that knew what they were doing. They were selling drugs, that are illegal, things like that. They knew they were breaking the law. But our whole position with our case was we didn't know that we were doing anything wrong because there was literally no legalities saying that we couldn't sell those ingredients. In fact, when they put out the Designer Hormone Control Act in 2012, they banned specific ingredients. We didn't sell any of that stuff. Then in 2014, when they made their addendum to it, some of the stuff that was on there we were selling. We stopped selling it. But we had a product, 2 ingredients, dimethazine and methylstimolone, that wasn't on the list. Talked to attorneys. They said, no, they didn't ban these products. You're making good money on it. Keep on selling it. So we continue to sell it. Eventually, we took on an investor that didn't want us to sell any of those kind of products anymore. He had been around for a long time, my current partner, Jared. So we discontinued that and moved into the direction of DHEA-based pro-hormones, which are protected. So when they raided my facility, we actually didn't even have that product anymore. So they went back and we went through a whole 6-year process of this. So when you're saying, JD 818, I would think a guy like you takes accountability and doesn't blame the government for putting him there. I absolutely blame a very corrupt government for putting me in prison. I have never broken any laws. And to put a guy like me in prison over something like that is crazy. It's crazy. And if you believe that that is something that somebody that should be in prison with all the other shit that we see going on, you're nuts. You're nuts. I don't know where you come from. Ash Cooking Vlogs, what is your comment? Oh, okay. Nice work, Hulk. Same thing just happened to the owner of Dark Labs for DMHA and DMAA. Listen, I loved DMAA, was one of my favorite ingredients all time. You see, my partner Jared Wheat fought hard on that for years. He actually won the FTC case, had it overturned, and they actually returned all the stuff they confiscated to him, but then they came back on the Supreme Court side of things and eventually overruled on that to officially ban DMAA. DMHA is still allowed. I don't see that one going anywhere for a while, but like what we see here with 1DL1 Industries, the point that you brought up that a lot of people don't know about stuff like this, federal analog acts. So they have different analog acts for certain things. They have it in the marijuana space, for instance, and they didn't have anything like that in the hormone space. So they came out with a Designer Hormone Control Act. And basically what they did with this act is there's about 25 things on that list that are now illegal that they say are essentially steroids. They're calling them steroids now. So it's a group of pro-hormones that were sold mostly from like 2008 to that time. A lot of companies with different products like that. Your DMZ products, dimethazine, things like that. When you see all those products back then, like I said, there was a lot of DMZ products, dimethazine products. When they did this list, they didn't ban dimethazine. The first list had things like Superdrol on it and stuff. If you guys remember the original Haladrols from Gaspari, awesome product. So it was a very strange position to be in. Now, if you want me to be accountable for being money hungry, sure. I didn't want to give up a product that I was making a lot of money on. And that's why we consulted with attorneys. Hey man, they didn't put this on the list. We good to go? Yes. Brother, you look jacked. Why do you do cardio every day? Well, I'm doing it for my heart health. I'm doing it because I want to burn some extra calories. I also enjoy connecting with everybody on here. No roids, no massages, no TRTs, just THC. Oh, just a fan of the Mary Jane, I see. Trend for breakfast? No, my trend days are far behind me. My trend days are far behind me. Unless you're doing competitive bodybuilding shows, trend is just too aggressive for everyday life. Now, that being said, I made great gains with it back then when I was competing. But I'm in my TRT days now. Blake, where am I from? I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. My treadmill is a Life Fitness treadmill. It's a commercial grade treadmill. I bought it almost 10 years ago, and it's still going strong. John Cena, that's funny. MCLT, what up, what up? Bonsai Runner, Brother Peach, is it true that if you have the lower body, it is easy? Oh, I already know where you're going with that, and yes, it is true, my friend. Genova said he wants to take me out for my birthday. He wants to take me out to eat. Tanya Miller says they used you as an example for sure. Like when Mike, this situation, went to prison for max time for not paying his taxes, and nobody ever did. Listen, Tanya, there's no way of knowing what they want to do and why. I came out of prison, and I go on Instagram every day, and I see people who are selling research peptides all over the place. And listen, I love all that stuff. I'm a fan of all that stuff. That is not legal to do. That is absolutely not legal to do. There's this gray area that suggests it's legal for research purposes only, but everybody is buying it for personal consumption. That's not legal. It's just whether or not they choose to go after those people. Prisha. What up, Prisha? Besides businesses, what business would you open? I'd love to get involved in the HRT business. I saw that Jay Cutler has his own TRT business. I think he's gonna kill it with that. Such a smart move. Such a smart move. Listen, I would love to be involved with peptides and these things. And who knows, maybe the legalities of all this will be different by the time I'm off probation. And also, guys, you want to know something that I love? You see all these Kratom companies, right? This is one of my most favorite things in the world. You think that I wouldn't love to be involved in the Kratom trade? And I know a lot of people making a lot of money for it. I would go right back to jail if I did that. That's why I haven't messed with it. Lively cuts, maybe so. Maybe so. Brother PJ's T-Shack. Well, you see, like, my buddy Guy has his company. His Uprising Extracts. I mean, these companies are getting big. Big, big, big. They're making a lot of money. And I've talked about it with my partner, Jared Wheat, right? Jared is as big as you can get on the manufacturing side of things. And I asked him, I said, why haven't you ever gotten involved in Kratom, man? It seems like you could kill it with that. And he told me straight up, he's like, listen, I could get incredible pricing on this Kratom. I see all the things that go in and out. He's like, they stop so much Kratom in the ports because it's still illegal to import Kratom into the country. So what has to be done is you have to be at a facility that allows you to farm it yourself and whatnot. And anyone that's not doing that, listen, they could go after any of those guys and throw them in jail anytime they want. Thank you, Peanuts number 5. Listen, I do go live. I go live Monday through Friday. I try to always be on by 9 a.m., but everybody here will tell you I'm usually a little late. Thank you, John Jones. I like you too. But if you check here anytime, 9 to 9:30ish, I'm going to be on. And I usually stay on at least 45 minutes. I'm at 51 right now. I popped over to Instagram for a little while because my audio wasn't working. And I love doing this with you guys. TJ's Farm and Family, I don't know where you live in the country, but in Florida, man, it's crazy. There are so many HRT clinics here. So it would be very competitive, but what I'd like to do is get involved on the telemedicine side, where we could take it nationwide. How many hours on that treadmill in 10 years? A lot. Creative Fro, great investment. If you get a commercial grade piece, brand new, it's going to be expensive. This thing was over $5,000 when I first got it. But, they're made for people to pound on them all day. Scatman, and you know what? I usually do it at night. I usually do it at night before I go to bed. So it's fresh for me in the morning. Wow, none within 50 miles from your house? It's crazy. Where I used to live, in East Boca, there were 4 that I could walk to in less than a mile. Crazy. Florida is a different animal. Recovered Dog says, we used to buy Kratom by the 2004, 2000, went to buy it. But yeah, that is one of the strong benefits to Kratom. And this is part of the reason why they push against stuff like this is there were people lobbying to use Kratom instead of methadone to get off opiates. And same thing, Suboxone. The amount of people that I have friends that got bad addicted to Suboxone, where they had to go to friggin' rehab more than once because of Suboxone. And if you watch, there's a documentary on Kratom. It's amazing. You see how many lives that it saved on that side of things, on the addiction side of things. But of course, then it affects the money-making aspect of it. Listen, those Oxy days, man. Those Oxys are bad news. Bad news. That was one of the sickest I've ever been. Blew out, the first time I ever blew out the disc in my back, I was on Oxycontin for a month. Coming off that, terrible how sick I was. What is my favorite cigar brand? Well, I have a cigar, an inexpensive cigar that I really like to smoke. Tobacco Special, the Toro Dolce, right? It's like a good, nice to have with coffee cigar. That's what I used to smoke all the time, but I never met a Padron that I didn't like. If you're gonna spend a little more money. Tony Miller says, I got a commercial treadmill for free from a guy who owns apartments and was upgrading his fitness room. Had to replace something with it, but that's it. How long have you had it for, Tanya? I've had this thing almost 10 years now, going strong. Great investment. Great investment. I began being legal in the States. It's everything about U.S. Pharma. It's a really messed up, corrupt place, man. It is. I hope to see them change these things around. I hope to see the FDA, new people involved, new positions. Rest in peace, Andy Hammond. Sad, sad, sad. There's a lot of things that need to be changed, We're really not in a country as advanced as we are where they're curing people. They're just treating symptoms. Lots of the times when you hear these stories, these incredible stories of people who have beat, whether it's cancer, other kinds of, scary diseases, right? They've gone outside of the country for their treatments. Good, Tanya. Hey, that's a good deal right there. Keith says, a lot of these people selling stuff aren't anywhere near the success you had. You stood out, and that's why you got targeted. I believe that definitely has a lot to do with it, I mean, as far as the pro hormones that during that time period, we were the biggest ones, so let's get these guys. Will you do cardio Q&As after you hit your goal weight? Absolutely. I'm a cardio Q&A for lifer, guys. Bring your questions. I'm here. I've been at Sonar, my brother. Is it okay to think my glutes being the hardest part to tone? For most people, the glutes are the hardest part to tone. Your body naturally holds more fat there. A lot of the training, if you're not focusing on it, you can take over with your quadriceps. So don't beat yourself up over that. Now, I have some friends, Guy Sister Nino. He has striated glutes all the time. He holds more weight like in his midsection. He's a lucky bastard when it comes to bodybuilding, but that area and also, the low back, they're just naturally going to hold more fat, and it just takes more time. John Jones, you said it perfectly, man. That's the truth right there. Big Pharma is designed to treat illnesses, not cure them. And it's a sad reality. There's no one to cure, there's no money to be made. That's the truth. That's why a lot of the people that go really outside the box with this stuff, they're considered crazy and weird and fanatical. I think that the pharmaceutical industry is so big and powerful, it finds it really, really hard to believe that it could be changed. But I do have optimistic hopes. How did I meet my wife? Actually met her. My old barber, him and his wife opened up a salon, and they hired her to be a stylist in the salon. And I went in there to check the place out. My barber used to come to me. We used to have Barbershop Wednesday at the office, but, he was proud of the place that they opened. It was a nice place, so went in to see it, and she was working there. And it was pretty much love at first sight, to be honest with you. Tanya says I hold fat like a dude. Lower stomach is like the last. Yes, sometimes some women... I had a client like that back in the day, Julian Revel, great competitor. She eventually turned pro in women's physique. She used to get crazy striated quads and glutes. I had to, at the end, soften her up because she would get so hard in her quads and glutes when we were competing in figure. But her lower abdomen took forever to get it to look right. Ever thought of selling BSL? What is the end goal once you get back? Well, BSL, while I was gone, got into a very rough spot. They got into quite the debt. They were in debt anyway. So the goal when I get back is to make sure that debt is wiped out. And that my partner is happily making money because he deserves it for all that he's done for me and Blackstone Labs. Blackstone Labs would not even be here if it wasn't for Jared Weed. He saved us. So, he made a rough investment. He invested into the company literally 2 months before he got raided by the FDA. So it's been a nightmare for him all those years. So really my goal is just that of a personal, from a friend to friend, morally, I want to see him really making money. So the idea of selling isn't even in sight. But I love this stuff, and I'd like to do it my entire life. What happened to the BSL unit tanks? Listen, I thought those were awesome. A lot of the apparel doesn't move the way that we want it to. It's interesting how different people's tastes are. I don't even think I have any of those anymore. Thank you, John Jones. I appreciate you coming in here and saying that. I'll be back again tomorrow. Read any good books lately? I haven't, Blind Slug. I read so much when I was in prison, but I honestly haven't read as much when I've been out. We do have this book here on vaccines that I really need to read because I'm very concerned about the whole thing with vaccines and my child. These are the kind of things that you think about having kids, and I want to at least postpone the vaccines. I don't want my child getting blasted with all this stuff. And it's crazy because they actually won't even let your kids go to school if they aren't vaccinated, which is really messed up. So I may even have to think into the homeschooling side of things, but hopefully that will change as years go by. I really hope to see that change. I mean, it's crazy, all the vaccines that they give kids. The polio vaccine is so crazy because polio has been eradicated. It's not even a thing anymore. So why are we giving kids this vaccine? There's so many things to think about. I was reading yesterday that a boy, right, they want to have you circumcised like faster within the first week because the longer you wait, the more painful it is. It can become traumatic. And many hospitals won't let you get, many hospitals will not let you do it without a vitamin K vaccine that has a bunch of other stuff in it also, I guess. And it's like, why? So a lot to think about. Hepatitis vaccine for kids is insane. I know that's one of the craziest ones. How could a child that came from a hepatitis-free environment come out and just magically get hepatitis? It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, look, whatever vaccines that I got in 1981, I'm okay. But the vaccine schedules have changed a lot. I was unaware of how much it's changed, but I think that it is literally like tripled since 1984, which is nuts. Where are all these things coming from? Why? But I've read a lot about the doctors get paid for all these individual things. It's a big, big, big thing. So vitamin K is the one's the worst because it contains metals. That scares me, man. That scares me. A lot of that scares me with the autism rates and stuff like that. So you see the Oracle mRNA cancer vaccine project. I have not. Maybe I'll have to look that up when I get off here. Am I on Treneroids? Well, I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. So testosterone is basically the godfather of all steroids. So, all right, guys, listen, I appreciate you guys doing this with me today. Thank you so much for joining. Did a whole hour today. Bounced around a little bit, got it all sorted out. But I love you guys. God bless you guys. Peace out. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow.